face certain non-tariff barriers. That's for sure. Okay, even in Europe, I will give you a concrete example of something that happened to me with a car. Okay, a free trade area can be Mercosur. Have you ever heard of Mercosur? It's like the trade area that they have between certain South American countries. The level of commitment is a bit lower than NAFTA. That would be a free trade area. North American Free Trade Agreement.
Well, you can't move things over the Mexican-U.S. border without government intervention. You can't do anything from Uruguay to...
Yeah, but before they used to be there. Excuse me, that I continue? Continue, it seems that I was like cutting you. No, tell me.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding the idea of a free trade area.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I know, anytime something leaves one country and goes into another, the government's supposed to know about it.
What they are doing is like they have less quotas. They have like before you used to have like more, like you had to pay more taxes. Okay, it's much more difficult for like a country like Costa Rica to trade with the USA than between the USA and Mexico. And this is only because they had this agreement. So they are like lowering, okay, the level of difficulties for trading. So implementing extra, as I'm saying, extra taxes or extra quotas or putting more difficulties. If I think about that free trade area, Canada, between Canada and the USA is pretty easy as well to make business.
Okay,
Nowadays.
So easy, not free trade.
Well, this is like towards. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's the concept, and then, but.
Okay, they need to rename that then. It's
No,
not
right?
a free trade area.
Okay, we can be like, yes, if you wanna name it like that, yeah, but this is the idea. Okay, they are working towards having like less intervention by the government. So it allows the companies to trade within each other because of those, like that commitment that they have. I like to watch, maybe I'm going to get like a video. I'll do my research and getting a very good video and saying like what actually is working here in America, what is the deal, okay, and what is the facts. Because that changed, okay? Very good. So custom union. Anybody? Actually, Mercosur, it's a custom union. Where do we have? So it's like between Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina. And now you can tell me an example of a common market. Anybody? An example of a common market.
Is that like the SCM?
Common markets usually, okay, share what? The same currency. So the commitment is much bigger, right? You have been living in Europe.
Right.
Yeah. So what happened with you when you were living in Europe? I don't know, you are not a European citizen, but I remember.
I used Lira when I first got to here.
You used to be a citizen?
No.
Okay, anyway, so there are no trade barriers really between the countries. But not only that, it's like people, it's easier for me as a European citizen. I can go to Austria and I don't have to go through any barrier at all. Okay, I'm able to work there without having an extra visa or anything because I'm a European. Of course, I have to show I'm European, and I will show that I'm going to be living there. Okay, so there is like a little bit, not even red tape, but a couple of documentation you have to give, but it's easy. I have no problem to get a contract. I have no problem to get a rent. Okay, to rent a house or anything like that. So, no trade barriers between the member nations. We have some external policies that are going to be common for all of us. And people and objects can move freely. So, in the European Union as well, we adopt the euro. There are a couple of countries that they never adapted the euro, like the UK, okay, or Switzerland. But before we used to have our own currency, and then we all use the euro. So that as well facilitates business within the European Union. There are a lot of critics. There are a lot of people who said that one of the countries that suffered the most with the adaptation of euro was Austria. The Germans were the ones who had the most benefit for, because the Germans were the motor, actually, of the adaptation of the euro and the heart of the European Union. Okay, so 1 mark. Okay, I think it was 1 mark is 2 euros, or 1 euro used to be 2 marks. But the thing is that it's 50%, it's like the same, basically. You double it. So there was no exchange of money. What happened with the pesetas? We have 300. Bueno, espera. Bien. I think it was 166, yeah, 0.6 pesetas. That was like, give me 1 second. Yeah.
Which is like $5 US.
Yes.
I can go out, get a tank of gas, get full, and get drunk.
Yeah.
With just
And
that
get
much
drunk.
money. Right?
Okay.
And then when they change over to euro, $5 is €5, roughly. So you know that with $5 you can't do nothing.
You can do nothing.
Yeah, like with the 20,000 lira, that's all you need to get out in town for the night.
Euro, USA dollar. No, that's what I don't want that. 100 pesetas to euro. Let's see.
I still have my 10 euros when I went to Paris.
It was like 100 pesetas.
I kept money from
60. Oh yes. Okay, guys. So that was the difference. Like countries who suffered a lot. Austria #1. Italy was between the top 5, and Spain as well. Why? Because all the prices, like for the commoners, as I'm saying, rest. And just to round it up, okay? To round it up, before you could buy something like a Chinese star, it was for 100 pesetas. So 100 pesetas. 100 pesetas is 60 cents of a euro. So it's 60 cents, no. So what they do is like 100 pesetas, 1 euro. So that was it. Actually, that 40 pesetas, we are talking about 40%. So we're imagine with big quantities that started happening a lot. And a lot of people lost the ability to buy more, and they were struggling. There was an adaptation. Like Spain got into the euro in 2001. That's when you went to Italy? around that time?
Yeah, I was there in 2000, late 2000 to 2004.
So
So
it,
when they just changed over.
Look, if we go, I like to see, for instance,
A lot of mistakes were made in the whole Euro thing.
Oh yeah.
you too?
But when we first moved to Italy, when it was
The whole concept was.
Lira, so they try to do that in Southeast Asia now. But they have that community now there with that 7 to 8 countries. They were trying to move into an Asian dollar. I was like, no, you can't do that. Because you can't compete, like Laos and Cambodia
Yeah.
with Singapore and Malaysia
Right.
and Indonesia. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
So it was like, for instance,
Like Malaysia and Singapore, the border is
Ma-
just there, right? But there's like a big disparity between their money.
Yeah. Because the Malaysian is in like 10,000, 50,000.
look at the conversion of the mark. So it was like basically double. So 2 marks, okay, was €1. 1.955. How close is that to the conversion? So super simple. Why? Because they were the ones who created the euro. Actually, they were the motor, and of course they were going to, do it the beneficiary for them, basically. Okay, they were going to get a profit. So those are the Germans, the motor of the economy of the European Union. So the Deutsche mark was basically 2 Deutsche marks was €1. So very simple for them. About the European economy. So European Union. It's economic union, but it's as well, we have certain laws. Have you heard of the problem going on in Spain right now with Catalonia and Spain? Have you seen the news? So Catalonia is trying to declare independency of the state of Spain. And they are appealing and going to the ultimate law of the European Union. So they are like trying to back up their position with the European Union. So that's how it works, okay? So set a local law, the maximum would be the law of the state, and if you want still to fight, okay, for that, you could go to the court of the European Union. So it's laws that are very similar and that are supporting all the citizens of the European Union, independently of what state or even what region, okay, are you living in. Make sense? Okay, so political union. An example, anybody, political union, anybody can give me a hint? Union, that's the total, like that's the total commitment.
Like the UK. Like in the UK with Scotland or something like that.
That could happen, yeah, that happened
I
before.
just think whoever wrote this and came up with these definitions doesn't understand English very well.
European, like a political union is what happened in Germany. That would be the total commitment. 2 regions that were separated because of whatever, like political reasons and the Second World War and everything, right? And then they decided to become one country. That would be.
They were one country
Basically.
before
Oh,
that.
you mean Berlin?
They were a country before that, but we can
They
argue
didn't
that.
get divorced, they just got separated.
By a wall.
That's a nice definition. They got separated, but with a lot of problems.
And then they got remarried. They didn't have to have another wedding ceremony, they just did it because they wanted to invite their friends over again so that they could then later on introduce the euro and screw Spain and Greece out of any money.
You don't
It
think?
doesn't.
Korea? South Korea? just gonna
South
take
Korea and
over
North
and
Korea.
become-
That would be an example of like, yeah, two nations that used to be together. Okay, they separated, but they didn't divorce. Or that was like an ultimate divorce.
Or
Between
the
North
United
Korea-
States,
Or,
you had
Make it happen.
half the country decided to leave and not be in the country anymore and declared themselves a different country, and the other half said no and kidnapped them and,
Put it in a labor camp.
yeah.
What about the BREXIT? What happened to that? I mean, you know, like Britain was part of the EU and they tried to.
They left already. They're not
well,
trying to-
They got
this
their money and they bailed.
Yeah, pretty much.
the British, they never adapted the euro. Okay, there was like one of the few ones that they never went into that. At first they wanted, but then they didn't. So at the end of the day, their currency is stronger, okay, than the euro right now. And a lot of people are not. The English, the British has been always, because of the physical conditions as well. A little bit, it's been always like the mainland, the continent, and England. So that would be a separation of what it was, a economic union, or okay, and now they are separated. The contrary could be is like what it happened to Germany, and I actually want to show you a video now. That's amazing. I was a kid, but I remember seeing that on the news.
Remember David Hasselhoff singing on the wall?
Yeah.
See, again though, I don't know if that's two countries coming together as much as it's.
I think it's two county coming together.
No,
more
it's
like
one.
it. But they were
half of
both
the-
German,
One
right?
half of the country went one way, or got taken over.
What are we talking about? What example, sorry?
West and East Berlin.
East and West Germany, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't even the country split, it's,
the politician.
no, it's Russia
People.
almost took over the whole country, but then they stopped. And so part of the deal was the politicians split it and said, okay, this part Russia can have it. The people that lived there, East Germans never got into, you know, they were still Germans.
Yeah.
They hated being in East Germany. They were always trying to get out. That's why they had to put up a freaking wall. And so
But over
when communism
Yes.
fell, when Russia
Yes.
fell,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't, you know, it wasn't East and West Germany said, oh, okay, we're done fighting. We can get back together now. It was, okay, the bad guy that had kidnapped
Yeah.
that side
Fall apart,
is gone. We can,
become one.
Reunite again.
we don't need the wall now because we can go back and forth. Oh,
Yeah, it is true. They separated families
yeah.
totally over years, over decades.
There were movies made about it.
Yeah, have you seen Goodbye, Goodbye Berlin?
Same thing with Korea. They have like relatives
Yeah.
on each side, but
Yeah.
they're not, you know, they can't.
They cannot because it's like they have like that, those barriers, right?
Right. They have
Some part of
separation.
the wall, they stand face to face. There's
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
nothing against
Yeah.
them. Even the table, there's a line between the table, north, south.
I remember as well, something similar happened with like many, not the country itself separated, but how the citizens were hating being part of the, how was it called, how is it called in English? La URSS, the Russian Union, all the Soviet Union.
USSR.
Correct, like the Czech Republic. I went there when they just got away from the Soviet Union, and people, they rejected so much the language. They didn't want to speak Russian anymore. Okay, they were obliged. My friend, who's like still in the 80s, right generation, she knows Russian. She loves languages, and she's only one of the few who embraces the language. Everybody in her family, they don't want to know anything about Russian because they were obliged. Yeah. Anyway, so let's watch this, a little bit of the,
This video that I watched 1,000 times when I was young.
yeah?
You don't have the house remix.
Yeah, the English remix.
let's watch a bit in German and then English.
Yeah.
Ano ba?
99 records.
Alright.
How long was the wall been up before they took it down?
50, 60 years.
56 years?
50, 60, something like that. Came up after World War II.
Deshalb haben wir uns dazu entschlossen, heute eine Regelung zu treffen, die es jedem Bürger der DDR möglich macht, über Grenzübergangspunkte der DDR auszureisen. Das tritt nach meiner Kenntnis, ist das sofort, unverzüglich.
Didn't he walk away first?
Wasn't Germans being different? That's a Russian mentality. Ah, screw it, just let them through. Germans never would have done that.
Ah.
Germans
What-
would not have screwed up this process. And that's why the Germans wanted out of the eastern side. Because there was too much of that communist Russian influence, something Germans would never go for.
Imagine those people have been working there for generations.
Yeah.
And what a moment.
Well, the graffiti on the western side of the wall, my favorite was "This wall has bad karma."
That kind
Is that what it said? What are the graffiti?
The whole western side, because the wall is actually like 5 or 10 feet into East Germany. So on the West German side, like from that sidewalk, that road, like the cops won't go past that road. So anything you want to go and do on that wall on the western side, you're still in East Germany. You're just not over the wall yet. So the Western police don't give a shit. So like kids go over there and they hang out by the wall and they drink because the cops can't touch them.
yeah. That's amazing. You saw it. You were there with the.
I wrote on it.
What'd you
My
write?
mom even wrote on it.
Wow.
We were on vacation, I think it was August, late September.
I wish that something like that happened in Korea. But